Hi, everyone. My name is Natalie Nixon. I am a creativity strategist and the president of Figure 8 Thinking. I'm also the author of The Creativity Leap, and I'm thrilled to be joined today with Bhushan Sethi, who is a partner at PricewaterhouseCoopers. And hello, Bhushan. It's awesome to see you.
Great to see you again, Natalie.
Thank you. We met at the Wall Street Journal Future of Everything Festival a little over a year ago. Who'd have thunk this would
It
be
was
the
one of those in-person meetings. You remember those?
Say that again?
It was an in-person meeting. Remember those in-person meetings?
I know. Exactly. Well, you granted me some time in the past year to be interviewed for the Creativity Leap, which I happen to have a copy of right here. And I really think that your work with clients at PricewaterhouseCoopers, especially around the future of work and upskilling and reskilling, is pretty significant. It intersects a lot with how I've been thinking about creativity. But I wanted you just to kind of reflect on and share personally, professionally on 3 questions. And my first question is, would you share a story about a time when you have made a creativity leap and the impact?
Yes. And so thanks, Natalie. Congratulations again on the book. I absolutely, when I'm working with clients and trying to solve business problems, whether they be how do we return to the workplace? How do we change the way we work post-COVID-19? How do we deal with complex societal and inclusion issues like we're having to deal with today? Trying to solve those problems with a different kind of lens, a creative lens, as we talked about in the past, is so important. Whether that's, asking the right questions, thinking about situations differently, having time to, as you call it, kind of wonder and think about and dream up different solutions, as well as bringing rigor. So important. But my story is going to be a personal story.
Awesome.
So about 8 years ago, I was watching the New York Marathon with my daughter. It ran past our apartment on First Avenue. And I looked at it, and I wasn't a great runner at the time. I was like a 2-3 mile guy. And I thought to myself, I want to run the New York Marathon. I want to have my kid watch me run. And so I thought to myself, how do I do this? So I tried to apply rigor and go through a training program. And I had the goal of wonder around my daughter cheering me on. And I went through that program and I signed up with a kids charity and went through a group and went through that running. And it was so great the following year just to run that race, go through that training, see my kid kind of cheer me on at the finishing line. And now it's a real important part of my life. Now, every day in COVID, when we're working from home, every other day I try and run in Central Park. It's a really important part of my well-being. And I've run 8 marathons now. I never thought I'd be a runner. I never thought it'd be so important for me. But it was just that moment. I often think about it when I was there on First Avenue with my kid watching the race. I never thought I would be one of those people. And now I hope to inspire other people with my story. And I think about that a lot because every morning when I'm getting ready to work, and I think this is what you call the kind of the regeneration and the wonder. I think about my day. I think about what I need to do when I'm running. So that's the way. I mean, there are many ways for it to, and it helped me a lot in my personal life when my mother died, and it kind of helped me get through kind of well-being and tough mental health situations personally.
Absolutely.
We'll have different ways to kind of process. That was one for me.
I love that example because it's clearly this example of going from idea to action. But what's also interesting to me is the role of movement, in being creative and generative and allowing ideas to marinate or fester whatever stage you are in the process. But I think sometimes we forget that as humans, we are designed to move. How have you been finding that since you've become a committed runner, that has helped you in different ways to be more generative around your work?
Absolutely. So like everyone, when we could do, I like to have walking meetings with my team. I like to kind of have walking, post-lunch meetings with colleagues. But just now in the post-COVID situation with us all working at home, I think it's so important if you can, just to walk around, whether it's your apartment, around a park, run if you can. Some people have access to stationary bikes in their houses or apartments. I just think it's an important part of just our own physical and mental health. And it
Yeah,
definitely
totally.
helps me from a work and a family perspective.
Absolutely. Our brain synapses are activated differently when we're moving and active. Awesome. So my next question for you is, who do you consider, living or dead, to be a wonder mentor for you?
So when I think about wonder, I think about my parents came from India. Mahatma Gandhi is someone who just grew up in a situation where everything was stacked against him, against India. He strived to drive independence. He obviously didn't see the fruitions of what he was trying to drive, but he just had the ability to take something on, and just the selfless sacrifices he made. It's a pretty amazing story. Others kind of, there are other kind of folks that have done similar things for civil rights, obviously, but he's one for me.
And what about a mentor for rigor for you?
I have to say it's my wife, because my
Wow,
wife
nice.
works
What
full
is her
time in
name?
healthcare. Eleanor.
Elena.
Um, she works full time in healthcare. She raises children. She homeschools children. She's in the other room. She probably can't hear me. But just this last 12 weeks, I've just been in awe of how she's managed to balance everything with home and school. And I know there are many Eleanors kind of balancing lots of things, but she's really been amazingly disciplined around juggling lots of those different balls.
Oh, that's great. I love both of your examples. And isn't it interesting sometimes that the lines get blurred when we think about these mentors for wonder and rigor? Because I could consider Gandhi to also be a mentor for wonder as well. So that's awesome.
Absolutely.
Any parting thoughts that you'd like to leave us with?
I think what's this pandemic has shown us, Natalie, is creativity is such an important skill. Whether it's to solve healthcare crises and surrounding ourselves with experts, asking the right important systemic questions about how to address kind of racial injustice, or even just how to change the way we work. And like you said, get up and take a walk around the block and not spend 18 hours in front of screens. It's just such an important part. And as we've talked about in the past, creativity isn't about kind of coming up with the next breakthrough product. It can be applied in so many ways that we're addressing business problems, personal challenges, just our general the way we live and the way we work.
Yes, absolutely. Awesome. Bhushan Sethi, thank you so much for making time to join us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Natalie.